Hello, it's Laurel, and I am thrilled to announce that I actually have a name for my videos now. I'm calling it Simply Card Making. So it's a card making video series with me, tied along with the Simply Gelatos video series I did last year. So I thought it was a fun name, so I've got a name for my video series now. How cool am I? So this is the card I'm going to make in the video today. It's going to be using some Faber-Castell mediums and a die cut by Winnie and Walter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a piece of regular cardstock, but I'm going to go ahead and prime it with some gesso because I'm going to be using the Faber-Castell Gelatos. So anytime I use the Gelatos, I like to prime my card with some gesso because it creates a nice surface for the Gelatos and they blend so much easier. And gesso takes less than 5 minutes to dry, in all honesty, not a big deal at all. So I'm going to use just 4 colors from the metallic family of the Gelatos. I'm using the metallics in grape, melon, mint, and blueberry. The gelatos come in a bunch of different colors, but there's just a few that are actually metallic, so I wanted to put them on the card today. So I'm taking the little gelatos, they're like creamy little chapsticks, they're so much fun to play with, and I am just scribbling some colors down in random areas. Just want to make sure that I'm going to get some full coverage there. And then once I've got all the gelatos down, I'm going to take a damp wet wipe and blend them. You can also blend them with your finger and you can blend them with a wet paintbrush, but I wanted to keep the colors pretty intense, so I didn't want to add too much water. The more water you add, the lighter the color gets. So I'm just going to go in with this wet wipe. I'm going to do the same color and then move to a clean part of the wet wipe and then do that color and so forth and so on until I get it all nice and blended. The purple, of course, is the most intense color, but I love it. It's called Grape and it's just pretty. The mint, of course, I'm drawn to like the mints and the turquoises for some reason these days. And then that melon is just pretty. I think all 4 of these metallic colors just work really great together. So again, going in and just blending them with that wet wipe, picking a new area each time I'm going to a new color. And because I primed that cardstock with gesso, it really made the blending very, very easy. So now I'm just about done here, and once gelatos dry, they are completely permanent, just so you know. But I'm going to go in with a medium called Glass Bead Glitter Gel. Again, it's by the Design Memory Craft. And I'm going to take a palette knife, and I'm just going to spread it on like I'm frosting a cake. Now this is a lot thicker than the textured pastes or the whip spackle and those kinds of things. This is a thicker medium. It has little chunks of glass bead glitter gel in it, so it's super neat. And if you were to tint this with some brown, it would make some really cool sand. I'm just saying. So I'm going in, spreading that around until I get good coverage. I want it, to get enough coverage for the die cut that I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to go and smooth it out and scrape off any excess and put it back in the container. Clean your tool and your work surface right away before it dries, because it's really hard to get off if you let these things dry on your tools and your work surface. I am working off of a Tim Holtz craft sheet, by the way, in case you were wondering. So once it's dry, I don't know, I gave it about 30 minutes. You can see how it's all nice and sparkly and it's rough to the touch. It's just very interesting to me. I think this stuff is so cool. See how it's sparkly? So the die that I'm using today is by Winnie and Walter, and this is what we're going to do to create this card. We're going to kind of lift it up a little bit. So I'm going to take this die. I love it. First of all, it's big and it's thick, so it's easy to die cut. And then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. And then I'm going to pop it out. Now, because I use some thick cardstock and put gesso on and put glass glitter bead gel on, it's a lot thicker. So I'm having to work at popping it out, but I get it out eventually. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine 3 more times, because what I'm going to do in the end is I want to layer them on top of each other so I can pop it up off the card base. I'm playing around with whether I want to use it alone or kind of inlay it back in, and then I decided I wanted to inlay it back in on the spot there, so I went ahead and die cut it 3 more times. You see how easily it pops out here because this is just some regular cardstock. So then I'm going to take some glue, any kind of adhesive that you have, whether it's liquid or a roller, whatever you've got will work, and I'm going to layer these dies on top of each other. So there's 3 pieces here. I'm going to layer all the highs on top of each other, and then I'm going to take the dots and layer those on top of each other. And then as a finishing touch, I'm going to take that gelatoed piece that we just did and I'll layer that over the top of all of it. And then it gives you some really good dimension for your card there. And because this is a very thick die, it's easy to lay these things on. Sometimes if I try to layer up very intricate dies, I give up. I just say forget it. It's just too much trouble for me. But this die was no problem. So I need to trim down that glass glitter bead panel. And then I'm going to try to figure out how I want to go ahead and inset this. I just think that that background there is so stunning with the different gelato colors and then the glitter over the top. It's just so pretty. So that's going to be the focal point of this card. So I'm taking some glue and I'm adhering it to the back of the die cut there. And then I'm going to pop it up. That's just some white top folding, Nina Solar white top folding card. And I'm going to go ahead and center that up into my card. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the high die. Going to go ahead and add that adhesive to the back and then pop that up. And you get some really fun dimension. Doesn't add a lot of bulk. You can still put it through the mail just fine without any extra postage. I'm super cheap, so I don't like to do anything that's going to make me have to pay extra for stamps. The glue that I'm using is that Scotch double-sided glue. Not glue, foam tape. It's foam. I mean, it is kind of a glue, but it's a foam tape. It's Scotch double-sided foam tape to give me some dimension. I like it because it comes in this ginormous roll, and then you just peel off the backing paper, and then you just pop it down, so it's super easy to use. And you get a lot of it. Did I mention that? Look how big that roll is. It's crazy. So the last thing, I thought the little bottom of the card was not proportional with the top, so I took my paper trimmer out and just trimmed off a little bit of the bottom of that card, and that's it. I just love how this pops up. I love the colors of the gelatos, and I love that glitter. You can really see it now with this angle. I think it's so cool. So I've got 2 other videos to show you today. This one was one I just recently blogged about stamping with water, so be sure to click on that picture and check that one out. And this one is using some color bursts by Ken Oliver. So make sure you check that one out too. If you're interested in any of the supplies, they're linked up below in the YouTube description, and also head on over to my blog where there are some more pictures for you. Thanks so much for watching.